Boom, 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 boom. 20 bucks. 20 bucks. They're on the line for 20 bucks. They keep on playing. Nobody's playing. Hi Jabor. They're Jabor from Montreal. A really fantastic group. Go onto YouTube and see what music. They do a whole variety of music. They're gorgeous. So, and Maggie, Mrs. Calabash, come into my kitchen. It's like coming to the Casbah. It's nice and warm and cozy in here. It's a beautiful fall day. The sun's shining. It's not too cold. It's not too hot. It's just right. And today we're going to, I fancy something nice and light and flavourful. My body, I'm sure we've all had enough of gloom and despair and despondency. This week I've heard from many people, things are happening out there. I don't know what, beyond our control. So I'm going to do a Thai chicken and mango stir fry, accompanied with a General Tso cauliflower. And you can serve this with rice, noodles, or completely without, just with the accompaniment. So you've got quite a nice substantial meal. Doesn't take a lot of preparation. So let's go back to the butcher block, and because most of the cooker, stove, whatever, most of the action is taking place over there today. So come back with me. And so here, you see, I've got everything prepared. And in here, I've got a little oil. Now, in the recipe, the oil is divided into two. I've had this on heat so that I can get it nice and warm. And you see, there's the recipe. Everything's ticked off. I've got a mind like a sieve. So to begin with, we need to, this is the combination of the sauce. So this is fish sauce, lime juice, cornstarch, a little sugar. Now the recipe calls for a teaspoonful of sugar, I think. I've only put half a teaspoon in. As you know, I'm diabetic. I try to cut down on the sugar. You need this little bit of sugar to add the flavour, but we've also got the sugar from the mango, and for me that is more than enough sugar. I can cope with that. I don't want to add any more. And so now we've got the chicken. These are chicken pieces, chicken breast, which I cut into bite-sized pieces. Now this is entirely up to you. I don't want, you can leave the chicken breast whole, but personally I prefer to cut the chicken breast up. Two reasons. They cook quicker, and also because you've got the different cut sides, there's more flavour in the juice, in the sauce. And so I like just to have a smaller piece of chicken. And actually the chicken breasts were quite thick, so I've sliced them that way into about 3 long ways like that, and then just chop them up. So we just want to cook these in the oil until they're nicely brown. I do have some rice cooking, which is on the stove there. I've got some jasmine rice. Not exactly, sorry, that's basmati rice, not jasmine. I prefer basmati to jasmine, but traditionally you would eat a jasmine rice with this. You know, if you've been really, really strict with yourself. So let's just turn these around. As you see, they don't take long to cook. We want them to cook so there's no pink in the centre. I'm always very wary of undercooking chicken. Most of my meats I will eat on the rare side, especially beef, but not chicken. Chicken can be a carrier of salmonella. Not so much these days, but it is there. And be careful when you reheat chicken. It's quite in line to cook a meal like this one day and reheat it for the next day. But bring it up to the heat quite quickly and hold at that heat for about 5 minutes to kill any bacteria. Between 5 and 10 minutes, hold at the heat, and then you can turn it down, and then that's fine. I tell the story that my daughter and we went to a wedding, and the caterers were really well known, and the food was good, apart from the chicken. And Katie was in the bridal party, and she came over to me and said, "What did you think of the chicken, Mum?" And I said, "Well, I thought it could have done with a few minutes longer cooking. It wasn't quite cooked enough." And that was on the Saturday. And on the Sunday, I began feeling quite ill. And by Monday, I was really ill. And Kate phoned up. She said, "How are you?" I said, "Well, I'm not very well." And she said, "No. Most of the people from the wedding party that ate, most of the guests that ate the chicken were ill. They got food poisoning, and actually 1 or 2 were in hospital." And what had happened was they prepared the food the day before, and they'd had the food warmers out and just put the chicken over the food warmers. And so it came up to heat very, very slowly, and so all the bacteria could multiply beautifully. I phoned, because being in the catering business, I phoned Agricultural Canada and said, "Can you prepare a chicken dish the day before?" And they said, "Yeah, it's fine." And they explained the procedure for reheating. So that's just a tale of caution. If you're reheating chicken, make sure that it's brought up to temperature. I'm going to look at that and see if it's cooked through. Now choose a nice thick piece. Yeah, look, there's no pink there, because it is going to go back into the pan for more cooking, so that's fine at this stage. Okay, so we're just now, can you see how the chicken's got nicely brown? So I'm going to turn the heat off and transfer this over to a plate. Oh, it helps if I put it down, doesn't it? Yeah. You know, sometimes I don't think. I have one of those days where everything's quite woody, woody, or whatever. There we are. Now, I'm using chicken breasts, but if you've got a little bit more time, why not use a chicken thigh? It has a lot more flavour than the chicken breast. Let's turn this back up again, and I want it to be nice and warm again. And where's the oil? There we are. I want to put the rest of the oil in there. Just let it come up to the heat. And now we've got in here I've got ginger, which I've grated, garlic, which is minced, and I've only used about half a teaspoon of garlic, of the peppers. I don't want to make it too hot. If you have an allergy to peppers, you can leave them out, but I like the spice. But I want to be able to taste the mango. I don't want it to be over spiced. And we're just going to cook those. Yes, it's fragrant. And so we're going to add the broccoli, which has been cut into bite-sized pieces, and just a little water. There we are. Let's just stir these around like this. Now, I'm going to put those there for a few minutes. I want to cook those until they're just beginning to soften. But in the meantime, let's start the cauliflower. So I've had the cauliflower. Let's turn it up. I just started to heat that a little bit, the oil. Now you, for this you can use any oil apart from olive oil. Olive oil doesn't give the right flavour, but I've actually today I decided that I was going to use a little coconut oil just to give it a different flavour. Yes, that's getting nice and warm. So we're now doing the general sow, and so we in here I'm going to combine the hoisin sauce, the water, the soy sauce and the sherry and the cornstarch. Just put it on one side, and I'm using cooking sherry. This still has alcohol in it, but it's got additive salt seasoning to it so that you can't drink it. It's not drinkable. I can only seem to get dry sherry, which I like for cooking, round about Christmas, and so I just use the cooking sherry. Now, that's getting nice and warm. And in here I've got cauliflower, just cut up. Now the head of cauliflower was absolutely magnificent. So that's not even a full head of cauliflower. Let's just move that. And I want these to brown. I'm going to cook these until they're starting to brown. So just all the vegetables need to be nice and crispy, not overcooked. So let's turn that on to high, and we can just leave those for a few minutes. And because there's only green onions and garlic to add to that, so we can come back to this. Let's have a look and see. I'm going to taste, just because I don't want to overcook this because we're going to reheat it. So, oh, it's got a lovely flavour to it. There we are. Let's turn that up like that. It's just beginning to soften how I like it. And so we're going to put the mangoes. These are frozen mangoes. I like to use the frozen mangoes, and then there's no wastage. You can add a few more mangoes if you like. This is only a guideline. So we're going to be working backwards and forwards. We want this to brown. You can see it's beginning to brown in parts. Lovely. So don't turn the heat up too much. This is on the back burner, so to speak. So it's not going to be as fierce as this burner. So we've got all that in there. We've got the green onions, we've got the broccoli, the mangoes, green onions. This is the last of the onions out of the garden. Just put those in for a minute. As I say, we're going to add the chicken and we've got to bring it up to the boil, up to heat again. So that's why we don't want to overcook the broccoli at this stage. The sauce. Just give it another stir to make sure that everything has been dissolved. I do have a little extra cornstarch here, just in case it's not going to be thick enough. Now you notice with this I've not added any extra seasoning at this stage. We want this to come up to the boil. There we are. I don't know if you can see it, but it is thickening in there. Actually, what I'm going to do, I've got a little more cornstarch here. I'm going to add a drop of water and just make a drop more sauce. There's plenty of seasoning in there. There's plenty of cornstarch, soy sauce and everything to take it. That's better. We're going to add the chicken back again. Get rid of that. And let's turn down the heat, and we want to make sure that all the chicken is actually coated with the sauce. And we can put that onto that burner and bring that one further forward. Now let's just have a taste. We might need a little salt and pepper. I don't know, because don't forget the soy sauce itself is quite salty. No. Just a little ground pepper. No more sauce, no more salt, certainly. Just a little ground pepper. Beautiful. So let's just put that, change burners over. Let's make sure that one's off. Pull that one over here. That one over there. Move this one over here. Turn that down to low. And I don't want it to evaporate anymore. It's reduced enough. So I'm just going to put the lid on like that and keep it nice and warm. So let's concentrate on the cauliflower. Oh look, you can see it's beginning to brown. That's exactly what I want it to do. Like that. Whew, it gets warm over the kitchen. Now I'm going to add the green onion before, I'm going to add the garlic before I add the green onion, because the onions I've got out of the garden, I've just used, there wasn't much of the base left, it was mainly tops, and so they're not going to take long to cook. But I do want the garlic to be cooked. So let's add the garlic, adds a nice flavour. There we go. Now you see, you can, as I say, just eat this with your vegetables without any starch, without any carbohydrates. You're not forced to have any rice or noodles with it. But I just like a little rice with mine. We always have to do, if we have a rice dish in this house, I have to cook noodles for Derek, because he doesn't like rice. Fussy for nickety pants. He will one day, he will eat rice, and then he won't realise what he's eating. Oh yeah, the bets are on, believe you me. Am I in a recipe? I'm working on recipes. And I've got a beautiful recipe, but it's got rice in it, and I'm thinking, I wonder if I can get away with it, but we'll see. If not, he doesn't know what he's missing, does he? No. So, got a little green onion. The spices are getting to me. There we are. Just to cook those green onions, and it adds a little bit of colour. Now we've got the sauce, and this is the nice bit on this. Again, I've got a little cornstarch put on one side if the sauce isn't thick enough. So look, just add the sauce. You can hear it sizzling. Marvellous. Now you want to stir the cauliflower all the time so that it actually covers. Like that. Can you see how it's covering, the sauce is covering and sticking to the cauliflower? Look, beautiful. Now I've got chilli on this. You can add some chilli, sprinkle some chilies over it. That is optional. I'm going to have a taste and see whether it actually needs some chilies sprinkling over. Just some dried chilies. I don't want to make it too hot and spicy. So, because we've got spice there. That sauce is delicious. I'm not going to waste this. I'm going to eat it. I don't think I'm going to add, I don't know. Tell you what, just a quick sprinkling. You see, not many's coming out, but it'll just be enough to give it that little bit of flavour. And that is the cauliflower cooked. Makes a beautiful side dish. So let's just move that over on one side. Bring this back to the fore, so to speak. Take the top off. Make sure the heat's up, and we don't want the heat too high, because otherwise the sauce is going to catch. But I've got some cilantro here, and I'm just going to stir the cilantro in. And we'll check again for seasoning now that the cilantro's been added. I'm trying to find just a little bit of chicken and some sauce. That is very good. Okay, so excuse me, the spices have got to me again. Oh, I think I have an allergy for chili spice. It happens every time. It happens when I'm making chutney or anything. I used to make a hot pepper jelly when I was manufacturing, and it has chili peppers and in vinegar, and oh my gosh, talk about clean out the sinuses. All the doors and windows had to be open in the production unit, the fans on. Whew, it really got you. So now this is what I'm going to serve. So I need to turn that off. The rice is cooked. So let me just I want to keep these warm, take the rice to the table. What did I do with it? There we are. Let's put a little rice on. I need just to moisten that. There we are. Just press that into my rice mould. So let's put a mound of rice there. I think of my son every time I use this because he lives in Chile and they brought this to me one day from Chile when they came over. So it's a nice memento. You can just use a little ramekin dish if you don't have a mould like this. So we're going to use the cauliflower next. I want the cauliflower to go round rather like a C, if I can manage it without making a mess of everything else. Some nice gravy there. I can come back to the rest of that cauliflower in a minute. Clean everything up. Let's just put this over here. Now we're going to bring the chicken over. Make sure everything's turned off. And we're going to put the chicken over the top. Like that. I could have done with a larger dish, couldn't I? So everybody gets a good spoonful of chicken and cauliflower. Boom, 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 boom. 20 bucks. 20 bucks. A little lime for 20 bucks. Lime juice goes very well. And just a little pepper for colour. And there you are. There's a beautiful supper ready that didn't take an awful lot of cooking. So thank you very much for watching, everyone. Don't forget, go to Mrs. Calabash Cooks on Facebook. The recipes will be up online for you all. And thank you very much for watching. Have a safe week and I will see you again next week. So bye everybody. But no invoking. 20 bucks.